Have you ever felt ashamed because of your past? Have you ever done something and you felt like you wasn't worthy to do the next because of a decision that you made? Well, on today, I have the distinct honor and privilege of speaking to one of my brothers on a topic that I feel like is just so outstanding because God took him from being in prison to walking in purpose intentionally. I want to welcome you to Arise and Build here with your girl Yakinea Marie. And in the studio today, I have my brother Trey Chaney. Did I get that right?
You got it right. Perfect.
Welcome.
Nice to be here. How you doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
I'm excellent now. I'm here.
First of all, let me say this. He is the owner of I Am Love Fitness. And what you said, what's the slogan?
Do your best and let God do the rest.
Do your best, but that's across the board.
Yeah, it's across the board.
Do your best and let God do the rest. And baby, when I tell you they gets it in, you can't go there playing. You got to go there, to work.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah, come in the door. We want you to get right.
So your story, because it's amazing how God cleans us up. He make us look like we ain't never been through what we have gone through.
Baby, going through still.
Yeah. It's just another level.
It's just another level
it's
of
just
going through.
Kingdom. You're in the kingdom going through. So let's talk about your story.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. I asked you, you're very transparent.
Very.
And you're all about empowering individuals.
Yes.
Very vulnerable. So what I know, just like I used to be an exotic dancer, drug trafficker, you've been in jail. And I did go to jail for only 2 nights by the grace of God. Well, they caught me with 100 pounds of weed.
Well, I got you beat by some years and months, but that's okay.
I'm not going to say the grace of God went on your life, but I'm not going to tell you that.
Grace of God.
But you want to know why they let me out of jail?
You told me why, but you can tell it again.
They let me out because the jail was overcrowded.
Yeah, I remember you telling that.
You remember that? Mm-hmm. I said, boy, and I was in Louisiana.
Well, my jail was overcrowded too, but they didn't let me out. We didn't even have no bunk. We were sleeping on the floor, but I still didn't get out.
How many years did you serve?
I did 5.5 years, and if you include the halfway house, it was about 5 years and about 9 months.
Wonderful. So what? Well, I won't say wonderful, but but that's the story.
Yeah.
What led you to go into that situation?
I was all about the money, which y'all gonna be speaking on in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But it was my mindset was however I can get money, illegal, legal, it didn't matter. If I could find a way to get it, I'm gonna keep going down that well until they run dry.
Yeah.
And so
it didn't matter if it was illegal, legal. It didn't matter.
And it didn't matter what I was doing. Well, I didn't try it at all. I'm not very transparent. I didn't sold drugs. I didn't stole money. I didn't, did it all. I didn't try some type of way to get money, and it made a lot of money, quick money, fast money, and I had to pay the price for that. So that was my story then. To this day, I don't have any regrets. I'm not saying I should have been doing that at a younger age because I was younger, but I came with a good background. Yeah. Both parents still married to this day. Came from a great home, nice home.
So what made, I'm curious because I didn't grow up in a 2-parent home. So what made you?
So that's what I was getting
hanging out with the wrong people?
Nah, it wasn't even that because the people started hanging out with me because I was the man with the money. So yeah, I ain't never been no follower. I ain't even gonna put that out there like that. So what happened was, I was playing ball for the University of Alabama, Birmingham. I had got a scholarship out of high school to play football, so all of my stuff was always taken care of. I was also working at the time on the side, so I was making a lot of money. Plus, I was getting a scholarship check. Plus, all my housing was paid for. I had a card for food, a food card to go to the HBC, the Hut Center and buy all the Chick-fil-A sandwiches I wanted. To Chick-fil-A, I just get all the Chick-fil-A nuggets all the time. The number 1 and number 12 didn't stand a chance with me. Okay, so all of that to say, once I graduated college, I ended up getting a Snoozy. I was awarded a Snoozy scholarship award where you have a certain grade point average and you're a student athlete. They give you a scholarship so you can continue education. Yes. So I started clinical lab sciences after I had gotten my first degree, and it's just boring. And I didn't want to do it. And I would have had to keep doing it to get that scholarship. But that scholarship that I had then wasn't an athletic scholarship. So it wasn't paying me like I was on an athletic scholarship. So I ended up getting a job for the government. My mother was the director of the Social Security building.
Yeah.
Well, Social Security 1-800 regional, so she was over
Mhm.
all of them.
Yeah.
She helped me get a job, and so I ended up getting a job there. And after being there for about 2 years, I got bored again. So I'm making like $50,000 a year, and then I opened a studio. And I'm probably making like another $10,000. So I'm like 22, 21 years old, making about $60,000, but that wasn't enough for me. And so after I started getting money, it was just like money I could see. So, you know, in those recording studios back in the day, when you're recording, I was recording a lot of rappers.
Yeah.
And when you're in that type of environment, you come into everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never around this stuff for real. I mean, in college, you might smoke a little weed and stuff like that, but not this type of drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on, like all the stuff you saying you did,
Yeah.
I could put my hands on any of it. Not only can I put my hands on any, because I own the studio, everybody's always come to me saying, hey, you know somebody got this, or you know somebody got that. So it became something, oh, well, shoot. As a matter of fact, I do.
You the hook. Okay.
So he'll be here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So then it didn't just me connecting them. It was like, hey, bro, let me just get 40 of those.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have them here. So when they get here, I can just sell it. So now I'm selling. So that wasn't it. That wasn't enough. So then I started to want to advance the business. So I started to want to buy more stuff because I was trying to get ready to buy a new building. You know, I'm always trying to think, go forward, get bigger, go forward. But it wasn't coming fast enough. So when I was working for the Social Security business, this one day, my manager had asked me to go to the front desk, and she was like, hey, can you work the front desk for me for just a couple hours because they're behind? I said, sure, because I was a site land coordinator. I used to fix the software and all that kind of stuff. But so I go up there and I started helping, and this lady came in and she was like, hey, I need to just, when somebody dies, you have to kill off their Social Security number. So nobody keeps trying to get money off or whatever. So anyway, this lady came in and she was like, hey, my ex-husband, he's passed, and I need to close his account out. And she was pissed and she was mad. She was like, I was like, why are you so upset? You know, I'm always trying to brighten. I'm like, hey, man, you woke up this morning. Yeah, but he left all this money in the account. I can't get it. And I was thinking to myself, well, why you can't get it? She's like, because we're not married anymore, and he didn't leave it to anyone, so it has to go through the state probate. And once you go through the state, then you got to go to court, then you got to file for it, and that takes months and months and months. It could take up to years to get. And so at the time, I'm trying to advance my business. But when I pulled his stuff up, I could see everything that he had. He had been dead for like 6 months. Nobody could touch the money. He left it, just like she said. So I'm sitting there. I told you I like to get money any way possible.
Money was your God, your little G God.
You know what to say? They always say, people get this wrong. They keep saying this. They say money is the root of all evil, but it's the love of money. And I had a love for money because I like what money could do for me in every area. I'm always trying to please a woman back then. That was my mindset. Like please a woman, I get one. So it was like get money. Okay. So I ended up writing his account stuff down. Just writing on a note. You know, because you can't have it up unless you got a pen, so I could go back and look later. So I said, she can't get it. He did. Nobody knows. I was a site land coordinator, so I was really smart on how to make a software and all that. So I developed this software that could backtrack, like when he was alive, to make it start paying on a mortgage for him after he passes.
You know what? Let me say this. First of all, I have always thought this, like later in life, the amount of energy that a criminal puts in to do something, they can put that same genius towards something legal, productive.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying?
I definitely know now.
And but I believe because you had a love for money and money became your God, little G. That is why Satan just used that as a pawn.
He did.
It's like
he dangled in front of me,
and you was just like a little dog.
Yep. That's exactly what I was.
Wow. Okay.
I wasn't even looking for it.
God, I never even heard that.
I never even looked for it. It just so.
Of course, but that's how he works.
So what I did was, I'm gonna give you the whole breakdown. So what I did was, not to make it on me, I built the software to make it look like this man did it before he passed. Not only did I do that, back then a new PayPal account made debit cards. This is when they first started coming out with debit cards. So I set it up. You may
not want to tell everybody because we may have a criminal watching this. They may be.
Well, you got to be working at the building, and you don't want to do that. They give them 100 years for this. If they want to do it, it's on them. You know, I just got Go ahead. But anyway, so I did it, and everything's different now. They got all kind of firewalls up. You can't do this no more.
Okay.
So when I did it, I was also looking for a home. So what I did was I set up the card in this guy's name. I sent it to a home that I was going to look at to buy. I wasn't really going to buy. I just wanted to go to the home so they could send a debit card there. So when the realtor took me there, after she left, I would go check the mailbox for the card after they told me it was gone. So I would go get the card.
You was a real criminal.
And I would get the card.
I used to do some stuff, but
and then when I got the card, then I would transfer money out his, and it was money market accounts. I ain't looking at no regular accounts. We're talking about accounts that start $150,000. I wasn't looking for no play, little mom with no cell phone and $20 in that. I want the real. So I tried it one time. All I did, this is the first thing I did. So I did it. I had an Escalade, a Cadillac Escalade out the showroom. I had just bought it. I said, I'm just gonna pay one note and see what happens. So I paid that note. I ain't do nothing else. 30 days went by. I waited 2 months. Nobody called. Nobody said nothing. No alerts went up. That was the worst thing that could have happened. Because after that, I probably took that account down to at $150,000 when I started. I don't even know what it ended with. So at that point, now I'm taking trips.
Now and the lady never, and the daughter never, the ex-wife never checked.
She would have never been able to check it. She couldn't see nothing because she had to go through the state. So by the time she would have got to it, it would have been already, and they could, when they would have looked at it, it would have looked like he was just paying all his notes out of his account.
Goodness.
So yeah, that's what I started. That's what I did, and I started paying everything.
And then that just started a criminal.
So then I'm no longer just looking at his account because I ran through that one.
You looking at?
I'm pulling them. I'm all in Texas, California, pulling Dagger's account. So the only thing I'm looking for are people that money market accounts that don't care for their family. I ain't leaving nothing to them. They've been deceased for at least 6 months, and the money just been sitting there. That's all I was doing for it. From that time until I got caught. That's all I did.
And you got caught doing that?
Well, no, I got no. I actually got caught selling lower tabs, and they trickled it down to investigate me. Then they found out that.
Let me ask you this question.
What?
Why you start selling lower tabs when you doing this?
Because I started with the lower tabs at my business, and you got to remember I started in the studio.
I know, but why you ain't stopped doing
because
that?
I was selling I was selling lower tabs to the people at my job. Because they buy the whole bottle.
I'm so glad God came and got you.
Yeah, I am too.
Lord, you have been selling humans.
I'd have been doing a long time, a lot more. About 100 years. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, because you got to think. So
did they ever catch you? I mean, did they ever identify that you did the money laundering with the?
No, they never. So what happened was they couldn't figure out the scheme.
Okay.
So what happened was because they never could figure it out, and my lawyer was like, "Don't never tell them."
Yeah.
Because if you tell them, then you're gonna get more time.
Yeah.
So they just hit me what you call access device fraud. Okay. In other words, I used my access to fraud somebody. But they couldn't figure out how much I did it, what I did, the whole nine. And the judge kept on saying, if you don't tell us, we're gonna give you this time. We don't tell you, you're gonna give you this time. And hit my lawyer was like, look, you want that little bit of time. They figured out because the federal government goes off a point scale.
Yeah. Okay,
so the higher your points,
using the feds.
Mm-hmm, okay. The higher your points, the more time you did. Okay. So I started off with a very low point. Yeah. But because it was a sophisticated scheme and I wouldn't tell them, they gave me 4 more points. Okay. And because they said because I fraud banks and I wasn't actually frauding people, they used the banks as victims. So I victimized all the banks that I was using. Yeah. Plus I was using banks outside of the state. That's what made it fair because I was using banks in other states. You was that dude. I'm so glad God came and snatched you. Yeah, I am too.
You needed to go to jail.
I did.
You really did.
I did because I was doing too much. Yeah, and I was about to get worse. I wasn't getting better.
What did your parents say when they?
I told you I broke their heart. Like I told you, my mother was the director of the building. Yeah, my mother was the director of the whole southeastern region. Yeah, so I broke their heart. I couldn't go home for a couple months. But yeah, it was bad. Like I was on everything, like everything. You can still pull me up now. It's down a little bit because I've done a lot of. You put my name in, you might find like I Am Love first and some the Star Church. But if you just go down just a little bit farther, go down by 2 pages, click over, Manual Change the Third.
I love how God. Oh, he's so phenomenal.
It's there though.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's still there.
But you know what? I heard somebody say this. We all are a used to being.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Is that correct? Used to be.
Used
to be. We all have a past. Maybe this person didn't steal this. Maybe this person didn't do this. But we all have something.
Right.
Maybe yours is not illegal, but maybe it's immoral.
There you
go.
We
all have something. What I love is I remember when I used to be ashamed of my story. I remember I was sitting in church and nobody said anything about it. I never heard any rumors, but I just put that on myself that I wasn't worthy because I put the church on such a pedestal, thinking that nobody in the church sinned intentionally. And then I found out later that wasn't the case. And so talk to us about, because I'm sure while you was in prison, you had an encounter with God. What was that like?
So I've always been in God, in Christ. Like my parents just brought us up. I was surrendered. I just got off track. You ever heard? You know that second. You know that second.
Yeah, you got off. Yeah.
That like the first Christian discipleship is, have you been saved?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be saved? Yeah. The second one is, have you been saved? You backslid.
Yeah.
Babe, I slid all the way down the slide all the way. I hit the back. I hit my back and my head on the wall down that slide. So yeah. So I was so mundane in church. Like I was just church to me because I was brought up in the church. My parents taught me the ABC's church. Our Father out in heaven, the 23rd Psalms. I knew all the books of the Bible. I could quote scripture left,
so you didn't have a relationship with God.
I just wasn't. It was just, I'm just going to church. And back then, that's when parents used to make you go. I was at church Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, song in the choir, junior deacon board, usher, all of it from youth. So by the time I graduated college, it was kind of like I'm just going to church because my mom know because she there.
You didn't have a relationship.
Yeah. So and when I got to prison, I was still on this. I'm gonna get out. I'm putting the pills in. I'm doing all that. Everybody think you're getting out of the field. You go to the field, you're not getting out.
Yeah.
To the showtime. I tell everybody.
I used to date
everybody come in there every time when I was in the field, and people like, man, I got a pill. I be like, oh, okay. Come on, sit down here with me, buddy. How much time you got? Okay, you're gonna do them 8. Don't worry about it. So that's the mindset. We always think we got one up, but sometimes God just be like, sometimes yes, and sometimes no, and sometimes not right now. And at that time, God was just telling me not right now, because I need to work something inside of you. So when you do get to where you're going, you can do what you're supposed to do. And when people see that, they'll see you. So it was, I remember like it was yesterday, it was December 14th, 2013. I was sitting in the chapel and it hit me. And at the time I was still running game in prison. I came in prison wide open. Like I'm still in there getting money, acting like I'm that guy. I told you, I've never been a follower. Nothing I do. I got a lot of friends that do a lot of great things, but I've always done my thing. And so when I got to prison, I'm hustling everything. Still selling, still doing. And then one day it hit me, and I just cut everything off. And I said, you know what, God, I'm gonna figure this out. And from that day, I started as what you call a cleanup, orderly in the counselor's office. Because like I said, I was the guy, I was very bright, very outspoken, so I was cool with some of the COs. They would give me a little extra sandwich or something, and I could make some other moves to get inmate stuff. So this one lady though, she was like a auntie, like grandma, like hard on me. And she would come in every day. My number was 293240001. She would call them 293240001. Get to my office. And I'd be like, man, this lady want today. I mean, 7 o'clock in the morning. I ain't even brushed my teeth yet. Here I go, walking the office. You didn't get that dirt from behind that water fountain. I was an orderly. So that's why I look behind the water fountain. Baby, this dirt been here 13 years. this dirt, it's so piled up. I'm like, you just on me for nothing. So I walked by they got this little board in there that tell you what's coming up in the prison. So I saw this little thing that said, come to Christ. But what got my mind was it was early in the morning, so you didn't have to go to work if you go to the class. So I was just trying to get away from her to go to class. So I said, so she was like, she called me one. I said, baby, I gotta go to class. She said, what class? I said, look, it's on my card. I go to class at the time. She said, you just trying to get out of work. I said, I sure is, but I see you later. So anyway, so I went to it, and it was just like what I grew up in, the ABCs of church. Our Father was out in heaven. He that dwelleth on the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. It's just the same stuff that I already knew. Boring. But the next step out of that one was go to theology school. So that's the one got me. Because I'm a person of research. I'm always reading. I'm always trying to figure something out. At that time, I'm still always trying to one up somebody. So I'm always trying to figure something out so I can be better than what you know or better than what you're doing. So that's just me. I'm just always want to one up. So
you don't have to compete.
But that's just how I was then. Now, but I'm glad I had that informational knowledge sponge mindset, because now I still have it, so it always helps me in business that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I'm in theology school now. I'm being challenged because I gotta write a scripture. I gotta write a sermon every week. I gotta be able to preach the sermon in theology school every week. I gotta
the theology class.
It was a college. I went to Titus Baptist Seminary School.
Really?
Yes, I graduated. I got a degree in theology. Yeah, I'm actually an ordained minister.
So they used to come to the prison?
They used to come to the prison, yeah. Really? Yeah, it was only 3 of us in the class. Yeah. So I took the class running from her, but God was just, I got something for you. So I ended up graduating, and then I ended up getting shipped. I got into it with a guy, ended up getting shipped to Memphis prison. And that when I got there, the inmate pastor that was there was a pastor that had some tax evasion, and he ended up getting out. I became the pastor of the prison church. Ain't that something? You laughing, but I'm dead. I'm up there pastoring.
Wow.
And got my theology degree in prison.
Know that.
Yeah, I didn't even told that part.
I would have named this from prison.
So yeah. So God has never called me to be a pastor of a church, but he did tell me I was going to evangelize and I was going to reach people and I was going to reach souls. And he just put me in the youth arena because that's where I resonate with.
Well, you're doing an outstanding job.
So
outstanding job. So I wanted to, as we close, I wanted to talk about you. Oh, God snatched you. He just he did one of them like your parents and your parents snatched you.
Yeah.
So now you're in the business world. You've been, you came straight out of prison, aligned yourself with business, your own I Am Love Fitness. So how soon from the time you got out of jail to the time you start pursuing your vision as a entrepreneur in that space, how long did that gap? How long was that gap?
So you know that verse in Isaiah where it says to write it down and make it plain? Yeah. I literally wrote it down and made it plain all 5 years when I was there. I said, I'm going to get out of prison. I got out of prison in July of 2019. I started training. I was training at this facility called Flex Fitness. And I actually set that up because at the halfway house, you have to have a job and write a check.
Yeah.
So I went to the manager and said, hey, if you allow me to train at your gym, you don't got to pay me. I just want to bring members to you. They can get a membership and I'll train them. They can pay me directly.
Yeah.
He was like, that's all I got to do?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I told him I'm always trying to one up. I'm always thinking ahead. Yeah. So he was like, all right, let's see how it goes.
Vision.
So he
said, look at that thinking you're not running up to anybody.
Well, I won up the halfway house.
But you're a visionary. You're a visionary. Go ahead.
But yeah, so he was like, cool. I said, but this is what I need you to do. I need you to write me the form of a check, but I'm going to pay it myself. He was like, cool. So boom, started with 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. After 1 year, I had about 60-something clients at his gym. Now, when I left, he was pissed because I went to my gym and not all of them came, but about 40 came. Okay. So, and I was training in other places too. So I decided after 1 year, I'm going to save my money, open my own place. Now we walked in there, we ain't had nothing. The gym you see today was nothing like it was. Then we had about four barbells, about enough weight to just make you feel like you're doing something, and everything else was just go. Yeah. So after 1 year, I got out of prison in July of 2018. I opened my gym in June of 2019. 1 year later.
Wow.
3 years from there. No, 2 years. 3 years from there, I bought the property to build the gym. And 2 years from there, we're actually about to be done building the gym this year after some fall, something like that. So yeah, that's where we at. And we have over 400 members now.
Congratulations.
So yeah. So that's
I'm
just God.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
Your story just show people no matter what you've done,
mm-hmm.
no matter where you come from, no matter what mistakes you make, you can pivot that thing.
Yeah.
You can surrender. And once you surrender to God, see that's let everybody understand this.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely God.
Once
now.
you surrender to God, it's like things start lining up.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
Nah.
But things start lining up. People, places, doors, wisdom, all the stuff you needed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a firm believer that things line up when we surrender and say yes to God.
Yeah.
That's our assignment.
And I'm gonna take it a step even further.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even have the money to buy the property if it wasn't for my church, the Star, and your church, Faith Chapel.
Yeah.
I'm just being for real.
Yeah.
When I say donate, I ain't talking about no donation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the donation was big enough for an investment. Let's just say
Amen.
that.
Amen.
And they said, don't worry about it.
And that's a blessing.
That's how God works.
That's an absolute blessing. God will touch the heart of man in order to sow, because our church is a great giving church.
You know, I know.
And and I know your church is as well. to sow into a vision because you're a good steward.
Right.
Because if you was bad ground,
Yeah, he wouldn't
our
have done
church wouldn't have done
it.
that.
I know.
You better know that one. No, sir. You know what I'm saying? So I am extremely thank you for sharing your story.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing your story. And I know you all, like you mentioned, the Teen Summit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And June 8th,
Mhm.
we're talking about money.
Yeah, all about the money.
All about the money.
I'm still on the money, except this time I do it a different way.
Yeah.
I know that God blesses your hands when you put when you put your hands in God. That's what I meant to say. God will bless your hands when you put your hands in God. And that was something that I knew I wanted to do. Is everything that I do going forward from the time I leave prison is to honor God and do everything His way. Now, I've made mistakes. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that God is faithful, and every move that I make, especially now, especially with my family, my wife, my child, it's a reflection of Him. It's a reflection of my family. It's a reflection of my church, because I am the leader of teens in my church, and I do know that Teen Summit is really moving, is evolving.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Right. Yeah. So it's really good, but at the same time, I just want everybody to know, wherever you are, honor God in all that you do. Amen. And you will see his bountiful. His word said He's able to do exceedingly abundantly all that you can ask or think, and He's wowed me. And every time I do something, I think I don't have enough, or I don't have enough. Like even today, bing, cash out go up. I didn't even know it was coming. Yeah, and I ain't talking about no little money. Yeah, I'm just talking about how God operates.
Let me hold some.
I'm just
playing.
I know if I sold it to you, I know it's gonna come back tenfold.
I'm good, what
you need?
So what's the website for those who make, what's the age limit? Okay. And then what's the website where individuals can register that
beatmetothe.star.net. And the age limit, beat me to the star. Beat me, and that's 2. The number 2. Beat me to the number 2, the star.net. Okay. And then you can also go on the Facebook page, the star, or you can go on the Instagram, beat me to the star, and that'll give you how to register your kid. And it's all the way from middle school. And here lately we've been having college young adults, because they're back from college. Like at Easter, the one we did at Easter, it had everybody. Yeah, we had middle school all the way up to young adults, college, everybody. So they're enjoying it. But this one right here, this is the first time we're doing a titled one. Yes, and this title is all about the money. So we got some big rig, great inspirational money movement people that trust God in the city. We got Abra Barnes, which is probably one of the most big time realtors in the state of Alabama. We got Pastor Brown, Cornelius Brown. We got Pierre Brown that owns his own mortgage company. That's who I refinance my house through, my businesses through. Like these people know about the money. We got SHECEO. She know how to get money both ways. You know what I'm saying? So so it's just some really people, good people. We got the first lady of the Church of Stars. She's also a realtor for the Barnes that's speaking. So talking about taxes, financial literacy, brokering deals, investing, land. God ain't put no more land on earth. You better get it while you can. So it's just, if you want to know all about the money, and you young adult all the way down to middle school, come on, pull up June 8th at the Star.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Listen, thank you all for viewing us, showing up today and watching this episode. I want to know your one key takeaway. What was the one thing that resonated with your spirit that blessed you? Comment below, because I read all of the comments. Now, if you're not subscribed, I invite you to subscribe, like, and share. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Arise and Build.